What's up, everybody? Wanted to update you on the ball game. I've done a couple things here. I've added a couple levels to show me, because when I need to move it somewhere, I need to make sure that I have it level. And I added a solenoid here that will tap the side of the ball. Sometimes when you play the game, there's certain spots that you have to tap the ball because just the way the game's set up. So I have that solenoid that will tap it. I have it hooked up. So actually this slip ring, it came with 6 wires. 4 of them I used for the stepper motor, and then I had an extra 2, and so that's what I have hooked up to the solenoid. And it's worked pretty good so far. The only issues that I've had is when I put the solenoid on, it changed the weight, so I had to take off a weight off of here. It also changed the way the game moves and how the stepper motor works. So in the program I had to change a couple things like the acceleration. So I used to have the acceleration set to like 10, which is pretty slow, and in the other videos you can probably tell a difference between then and now. I have it moving a bit faster, so it's going to go through the game a lot quicker. Also, I have the amount of steps the motors will take per meter is 100, so it'll do I think 100 steps would be calculated out to a meter if it was running on like a CNC machine. But since it's running in this configuration, that's just the amount of degrees, I guess, in the rotation. So I guess you could say for 100 steps it'll go 360 degrees. And if I change that value, the whole thing is going to get messed up, and all my G-code, I'll have to change it. And so I left that the same. I changed the acceleration, and also there's a time, I think it's a delay time between each G-code step. Between each step there's a delay, just so that the Arduino can process it, and I think to eliminate noise. And I reduced that just a little bit just to see what would happen, and it actually works a lot better now. I haven't had any issues with noise or anything like that, probably because I don't have anything in this area that would cause a lot of interference. I guess my computer and the Wi-Fi, but I don't think that's something that I need to worry about. I have noticed that in the game there's little numbers showing you where the like what level you're on. Like you can see here that arrow, and down here that 28, and I think right there 29. So those are actually in the plastic, and so what happens is when the ball rolls over those numbers and the arrows, it actually changes the direction the ball will roll. And so I figured out why every time I redo the game, you know, there's a lot of variations in the playing of the game, is because of those indentations. Sometimes the ball will get stuck on it, and when the ball rotates to the next position, the ball gets stuck on it, and then it gets to a point where it rolls off, but it rolls off too fast, or it just rolls off in a weird direction. So to fix that, I've just had to mess with the G-code and just figure out what works. I mean, I still have an issue every time I play the game. It's there's always going to be a little bit of variation, and I just have to account for that in the code. And it's really time consuming because I'll get to a point in the game when I'm programming it and the ball will fall off. I'll pause the program, and then I'll have to go through back to the last G-code position and edit it. and then play the game over, and when it gets to that same spot, I have to see if it falls off or if it stays on. If it stays on, that's great, it'll go to the next spot, but if it falls off again, I have to go back and change it. And so far it takes about 4 minutes to get through the, I think there's a practice B. It takes about 4 minutes. And so if you think about that, if it takes 4 minutes to get to practice B and it falls off at like 3 minutes and 20 seconds, I have to go back, look at the G-code, change it, play the game again, which takes 3 minutes if it doesn't fall off. Make sure that it works. If it does fall off, I have to go back, play it again, you know, and the time just adds up. And so if there's a way, I've been thinking of different ideas of trying to get the computer to know when the ball falls off, maybe using a microphone or some kind of sensor that will detect if the ball falls off, the program will stop, it'll reset, play the game again, and it'll print me out maybe a log of the errors, and it'll let me know like what time the ball fell off, how many times it fell off, so that I could program it, have it run up, you know, for 2 hours without me having to watch it, and then I come back, I look at the log, see where it fell off the most, and then I can go back and fix that spot, see where it fell off, you know, in other places, because every time it will fall off in one specific spot if I start the game like out of, I guess, not in the right, I don't know what you call it, if in the right spot. Like if I started it like this and had the G-code run, it would always be falling off in one specific spot. But if I have it set to where it should be, that spot changes. And so, I mean, if that would be a good idea, you know, something along those lines. Anyway, I will, let me show you the game running, and you can see how much faster it is now that I've changed some of the code. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how this game, I'm going to show you guys the game working. Let me hook it up and we'll get it going. Alright, so I just hooked it up. Now I need to make sure that my axis is in the right spot, so I use this Allen key, and I line up there's these lines that I need to line up. It looks like it'll be lined up. If it's not lined up, like I said, stuff's gonna happen, bad stuff's gonna happen, and it'll waste all of my time. But if it's lined up, it should work fine. So I'm just gonna start the code right now on the computer, and it'll start playing the game. And I think I'm just gonna talk as it goes. So right now it's picking the ball up, it's gonna rotate it. It's gonna be really hard to see from this spot. I will bring it closer. It's kind of hard to watch on the because I'm filming on my phone, but you can see it's going through the program, and you can see it's going a lot faster than it usually does. So, which is great because it saves a lot of time and gets it through the game quicker. I have also, I don't know how easy it is to notice, but I have both axes working at the same time in certain spots. Like in that spot right there, instead of having it roll and then come up, it'll all do it in one motion, and that actually saves a lot of time doing it that way. So the ball's coming up to these steps, and it'll roll down these steps. Now I haven't really had any issues with these steps, but the other steps, the kind of inverted steps, the ball loves to fall off there, and it's really hard to figure out how to keep that from happening. I mean, I've tried to change the G-code to not have it roll as fast, but it just depends on what it wants to do, what the ball wants to do. But I mean, it'll still make it most of the time. It's every once in a while, but really every once in a while it's really annoying, because then I have to start the whole thing over again and do it all over again. So here it's coming up to another spot that's kind of tricky, and it's always difficult to know what to change in the G-code to make the ball roll like it should, because it's just numbers, you know. You don't have any kind of reference. I mean, and if the ball isn't on the track when you're programming the G-code, like if the ball fell off and you're trying to figure out how to make it not fall off, but it's not there, it's really hard to figure out. So coming up to this spot, this is a giant maze, so it's really hard to see what's going on unless you are looking at it in person, because then you can move your head and stuff. But I'll try to get the best views for you guys. I mean, it's working pretty well. It's just like so time consuming to get it to work every time, because sometimes the computer will reset, or sometimes, I don't know, even if the power went out, that would be really bad, because then I would lose everything. Well, I mean, I wouldn't lose all my saved G-code, but I would lose... man, I don't know what would happen if I just unplugged stuff right now. I don't even want to think about that, so... But it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just so... If I had a way to not have it be so time-consuming... Because, I mean, if I spent... Like that. See how it fell off right there? And now it's going to keep running because it doesn't know the ball fell off. And so if it knew the ball fell off, it could reset and play the game again. And it looks like it. So yeah, it'll just keep playing. So I just come over here and I just have to pause it and then abort it, and then get it back to its home position, and it'll go. And even it takes time to get it back to its home position. It takes like a couple, you know, like 20 seconds. And so it's always a challenge. But these levels here are really helpful, because if I move it, I haven't moved it since I've built the thing, and I don't really want to move it because I don't want to find out what it's gonna change, but I'm gonna have to move it at some point. So it comes back to the home position, and so then I can start the program over again. But if I was actually trying to change the G-code, I would have changed maybe that spot, or you know, if it just fell off because it fell off because of maybe somebody bumped the table or something, then I'll just play it over again. So it'll go through the code again and hopefully get past the spot that it fell off. If it doesn't, then I know that I need to change something. If it does, then I can just forget about it, because it was maybe something that just how the ball decided to roll. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys tune in next time. Thanks. Bye.